All right, all right, all right. We got action. All right, I'm really figuring this thing. I'm really figuring this thing out. Each time I log on, I've been trying to go through the channel, come on live, but now I'm going straight to the icon that says go live. I go through that now, and it seems like it allows me to get in and go live quicker. So, okay, it's like you play around with stuff, you figure it out. So, I just had a guess. How y'all doing, man? What's up? I'm off the late night. What's up? Who rocking with me? Who up with me? I just woke up. I got a full day tomorrow, and I'm like, let me go ahead and come on here now. You know what I'm saying? And it's all these homecomings tomorrow. And you got Howard University, Jackson State Universities was the day. Deion Sanders got Jackson State lit down in Mississippi. And uh, so that's like the spot to be at right now off the HBCU tip. But you know, but I just seen Till, Emmett Till movie produced by I don't know this brother name, but I think that's who this is. Along with Whoopi Goldberg. The guy that played Inside Man, that was he's African. He was in 12 Years of Slavery. That guy, you know, Chinula Aquano. I can't pronounce that name, but he's an African brother, but he looked black, and that's like the perfect way that I can describe him. 12 Years of Slavery. He was in Inside Man, uh, with Denzel Washington, one of the agents in that joint. So yeah, y'all get it. But Till was awesome. It was about basically Emmett Till mom's Mamie Till, and it was really a moving movie to see. Whoopi Goldberg was one of the executive producers, and you know, I can't give it no justice. I ain't gonna lie, I shed a few tears in that joint when it's a part in the movie when they found his body. They threw him in the river. They didn't say how long he was in the river, but the water corroded his body and blew him up. They knocked all his teeth out, shot him in the head. It was crazy, man. And you know, but one thing I noticed, he was a jokester. He was a kid full of life, and he was a up north like myself type of kid. He was like aggressive, and that's why I feel like when you don't come up in a certain area of the world and you go to a place like down south, it's a whole different way of living, and this is 1955, so everything is segregated. you know they calling you nigga down there, even though you got some freedom and rights, but in a way you don't. It's just totally different. You know, just for that reason, I don't think I would care to live down south. And I was called a nigga some years back in North Carolina at a gas station. And that's the first time that it just hit different. You know what? Words are powerful with the intent behind it. And what I mean by that is I was going in the gas station and I cut somebody off not knowingly, up north here in DC. We aggressive, you drive into a gas station, you get to the pump, you don't take all day with it. So I beat this white man to the pump and old guy, I ain't think nothing of it. And he pulled up beside me and called me a nigga. I was like, when I looked at him, I was like, whoa, did that just happen? But we called each other that word on a regular. But that's a term of endearment that our culture has adopted. And, you know, it's just like a scenario that if I don't like my cousin and me and him fight and he do crazy stuff that I don't mess with, you know, or whatever it is, you better not touch him. So it's kind of like a situation like that. If me and him fight and we don't get along, that don't mean that that's open season for you to mess with him. You know, so you feel like because I don't like them, that mean that's open season for you to say something or mess with them. Nah, we don't do that. So that's what calling that word, that's how we carry it among our culture. So that don't give you a reason to say it if you're not of the culture. So that's my take on that, and it was just a good movie. She had an open casket with and for his funeral with his whole face. He didn't even look like himself. She put pictures up in the casket, and it was just like very moving, and you could hear people like sobbing a little bit. It was very kind of emotional, and it was crazy, So yeah, it just that movie and that story, they took a long time trying to tell that story over the years, damn near 60 years. Go see this movie out, you know. And this lady that played Mamie Till, she did an excellent job embodying this lady. And the young man that played Emmett Till, he's a young star on a CW show called All American with Tay Diggs. He's an actor. He plays the younger brother on that show. And to the star of the show, the football player. He's the football player, younger brother. I was just telling my son that, and you know, I was just telling my son that. So he was on the Jennifer Hudson show. If y'all haven't seen that, y'all need to check her out. She has her own show. I think it bumped Tamron Hall slot at 1 o'clock. I caught it, I think Wednesday, and he was on there, and they were saying his performance got an Oscar buzz, so that means he might be nominated for an Oscar, and he's 15 years old. As Emmett Till, he was 14 in the movie. That's when the real Emmett Till, and they called him Bobo. Um, uh, they asked her why was he called Bo or Bobo, and she said her mother's friend every time he was being, as she was carrying him, she said every time her mother friends saw her, she had a gift. She said, here's another gift for the little bow in your belly. So, so that's, something that was very intricate in that movie that I took away from it. Um, The movie also highlighted the heroics of Magna Evans and J.W. Johnson, and Mr. Huff, who was intricate in the NAACP back in the 50s, and Mr. Huff, who was a lawyer, I think, and an activist. He the one wrote the letter to the governor down in Mississippi, and got the ball rolling to uh, go get his body and bring it back to Chicago. And it's just crazy. She didn't want him to go because he was 14, and Whoopi Goldberg also acted in the movie. She played his grandmother, and that's where she was from Mississippi. And the whole offense took place in Money, Mississippi, in a convenience store. He had a wallet that he brought from the department store before he left, and it had a picture of a white lady in the wallet, and he kept the picture because she was beautiful, and it was taboo to even like a white woman in them days. So he's in the convenience store. The lady looks like the picture that he has in his wallet, and he shows her. He said, "You look like a movie star." He gave her a compliment, but that's nothing you do down south. You ain't even supposed to be looking at a white woman like that. And then on top of that, he whistled at her, trying to be joking. I mean, joking around, trying to. He a 14-year old. He like girls, and oh man, it was just crazy. So and she came out like she was so furious that you even talking to me. But what tripped me out was after that whole incident, the convenience store had to shut down because nobody would go to the store because our black people was the business that was providing business to that store. They was making their money off of us, but you ain't supposed to talk to me. Just come in here and get what you want and get on out of here. Then the lady ran out. Her name is what's her name? Carl Durham. Carl Durham Bryant. That's her name. And anyway, she ran to her car and tried to shoot him. But they got out of there. They looked for him 3 days. And then they figured out who he was, And it's a small town. They went and got him from his uncle's house, and they lynched him, beat him, and everything. And it was crazy, man. When you see movies like that replicate a time in history of a real event, it just indicate how far we come, how far we gotta go. Um, I'm gonna get into Kanye West and what's going on with him, which is the hot topic right now. It's kind of dying down, but we're at a time in our life that we can say what we want and speak our mind, but it feel like we still kind of boxed in, if you will. The higher, the louder that your talent and your intelligence take you, it's always somebody that is of some kind of Caucasian culture. It feels like always trying to insert that you better stay in your place. Even if it's not said, it's felt like that. So it's like time done changed from then to now, but it's still like a aura that's out there in the air. And slavery now is present, if you will. You know how lynchings was going on and eliminating our people. Now we're doing that to ourselves by the killings that is being committed on these streets. You know, it's a young man that got killed last Thursday in DC, maybe a week ago now. That's one of my homeboy's grandson. He's gonna be buried tomorrow morning. And it was all over an argument online. So again, people in general, women, men, boys, girls, stop arguing with people in general online. And then it gets so out of control. You telling them, pull up, you know where I'm at. Stop saying that. Don't invite nobody to your doorstep to eliminate you. You inviting somebody to your doorstep, you better be ready for war. Don't just say it and think that they ain't gonna do it. It just seems like we desensitized to what is outrageous. It's like it's not outrageous no more to take somebody's life. It's like the norm. It's part of the culture to eliminate somebody with a handgun and bullets. So God rest this young man. God rest his soul. Shots out, not shots out. I'm sorry, poor choice of words. Prayers goes out to my homeboy and his daughter and her son. You know, You know, I want to shout their name out, but I don't think it's appropriate. You know, but they know who they is. Um, yeah, yeah, man. So I said Magna Evans played a big role in navigating Mamie Till around in Mississippi when she had to come there to testify when they found the two men, which was one of the men was Carl Bryant husband and somebody else. And did y'all know it was some black men involved with it? Some guys that worked for this Bryant guy on their farm or something. So, but the two men that came to the house and got him, that's who were on trial. And don't you know, maybe 10 years or so, they spoke to a magazine and they admitted that they killed Emmett Till for what he did. He whistled at his wife, and both of them guys was paid $4,000, for their story, because they was acquitted when they went to court, and it was crazy, the whole situation. Um, but she sparked a movement that got lynching a federal. She made lynching a federal law. Is against the law, and it's a federal charge if you're caught. So his death wasn't in vain. Again, Magna Evans was very instrumental with being her security and driver and navigator around Mississippi when she came to town to testify on these two guys. And so that's how Magna Evans, through the civil rights movement, got his name, made his name, and became the iconic activist that he became. And then they said within his rise, he was assassinated on his doorstep 8 years later. 8 years later, in front of his wife and kids. And Mamie Till and Magna Evans' wife uh, had a moment to talk about what was going on and the dangers of what they was doing. So I just say all this to say it's a lot of people that sacrifice for the luxuries that we have nowadays. And I just feel like we need to honor them better than we do by basically taking pride in our culture and stop hurting each other, start loving each other. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to be always evil in the world. And we're always at war with evil. Those of us that are on the side of the Almighty, which represent everything positive and good in life, we're constantly at war with evil and what that represents. So anything that's vulgar and deceptive and corrupt, that's the fight that we fight every day. So it ain't easy. So I would say from watching that movie and other movies, watching Roots coming up. We sit there and we cry, and she'll say, "Watch it. You need to know what our people went through." We sitting there crying. My grandmother made me go with her to see Color Purple back in the day. I ain't want to see that movie, you know. I always said, you know, I know I would have been Kuta Kente. I'd have been running, trying to escape. I always said, I know I would be Douglas, somebody that escaped. You know, that would have been my mindset. I'm saying that now. But you don't know what you would have been doing. Just like, okay. Yeah, so you don't know what you would have been doing, you know. You don't know back there. It's like I had a conversation with my niece. These three young guys that came and shot my homeboy grandson, they said they came to his front step, put 25 rounds in him. Then I hear two stood by the car shooting at him, and one came up on him. That man grandmother, the young man grandmother and great grandmother was on the front. His cousins running around. It was his grandmother or great grandmother's house. So no regard, no remorse, for these elders on the front. You know, it was rules back in the day in the streets. You don't kill kids. You don't kill elderly people. You don't shoot women. And these kids, I'm gonna tell you what I believe when the shift changed, far as I can remember. The rules went out the window when we saw boys in the hood with all that. They shooting sideways and spraying and you know, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I love that movie. But that movie and movies like that birth a level of ignorance. But it educated you too about gang culture. Rap music. Rap music was about bars and skills of dialect and wordplay, clever wittiness. Then they do, I'll kill you. I'll bust you in your cooler and red Kool-Aid gonna run everywhere. I'm like, and me being in my early teens or late teens and early 20s, but I'm gonna tell you, if it was, if them lyrics was not put to a dope beat and loud amplified music, I would like to think we would have been like, what the hell is this shit? And let's be 100 right now. We ain't listening to the lyrics a lot of the times. We listening to that dope beat. You know what I'm saying? We listening to the dope beat. First time I hear something dope, I ain't listening to the lyrics. I'm listening to that dope beat and the music be coming behind it. I'm rocking out. I think about the sixth time, maybe for the sixth time that I hear that song that's vulgar and aggressive. I think then I hear the lyrics by the sixth time that I hear that song. But then I'm already caught up into the music. And I'm like, okay, they saying some wild shit, but that song dope. So the lyrics are camouflaged by the music and the dope beats that we like. Because I would like to think if we just listening to the lyrics, we would be like, man, get that shit out of here. That shit out of here. Fuck is you talking about? But that's why music of that kind is promoted to young people because the young mind is not a mature mind. Me at 52 listening to what I heard back then for the first time, I would immediately dismiss that kind of rap music. It wouldn't have had a chance with me. Like it didn't have a chance with the elders when rap music came on the scene. The elders was like, what is this shit? Turn that shit off. I couldn't even play rap in my house unless it was, Dougie Fresh or something that was a party song. Nothing vulgar. My people wasn't having it. So yeah, I just try to give you a little breakdown of when did the shift change that we got so gangster and this and this and that. Everybody in the hood think they hard at the end of the day. Cause that's a mindset we gotta have. You can't be soft, you can't cry, you can't be emotional. You gotta be hardened to walk these streets. And you gotta have a demeanor that is either you or me if it come down to it. And that's just a rough way to live. But that's our reality growing up in these neighborhoods. I hate to say it, but that's the reality. And one thing I do know, we talk from our experiences. So whether I think the vulgarness and the message was detrimental, it was our story from the hood and our pain. And as you hear nowadays, they say Dre and them wasn't even gangster like that, but they was around it. They was like Eazy-E was the dude at the end of the day. Everybody else were middle class, individuals that didn't have to be in that lifestyle for real, but they was around it. You could be middle class and be like 2 blocks from the hood. You go to school with the same kids from the hood, but they just go maybe blocks down. Y'all still live on the same block. And 9 times out of 10, you living in your single family homes in the hood down there, they got the basketball courts, all your friends down there playing football. You want to go down there and blend with them. You know? So it's like as kids, we just being kids. We're not thinking about how this going to affect the community and down the line. We ain't thinking about that. So I just be trying to reflect and make it make sense to me, you know? All right, man. Let me get off of that. I done gave y'all 35 minutes of commentary and you know, so I said I'm gonna get into Kanye West and all the controversy controversy about him being on Drink Champs and Pierce Bronson and I really come to the conclusion that people gotta forget and can't forget controversy sells. Kanye is an entertainer. That's how he made his money. So you have to keep being creative on people paying attention to you for you to sell anything that you selling and for your name to be relevant. You gotta be a troll a lot of times. You know, it's no bad news in entertainment. Bad news is good news. And I just think he done became a master at that. He know how to wake up people and get them focus and attention on him. But I do really believe that he's a radical. He's an intelligent thinker. Nobody degrees from nobody universities, but this man is highly intelligent. This man done he done made $1 billion in America, like 10 times, 11 times over. But what's a trip is you still have intellectuals that would discount that because he ain't got nobody degree. He ain't sat in nobody classroom. So they would discount that because they have degrees. You know, I done talk with people that are intellectuals and in their world that they live in, if you ain't sat in nobody class and got no kind of degree, they think everybody's stupid. Now, not all intellectuals think like that, but most of them do. I'll give you a situation. I'll give you an example. When Allen Iverson got recruited to the NBA league, when he got to the league, I talked with a brother. He might have had a master's. He's a government worker, making probably what 75, 80,000 in the 90s, right? Or late 80s. And that's everything to a regular individual with a master's degree, like I said, I dropped out of college because, my grandmother was helping me go to school and, her support allowed me not to work and focus on studies. But when she died, God took her home, brought her home. I had to get back out there to support myself because I don't come from a wealthy family and my family wasn't built like that for me to keep going to school and they had my back. You know, I didn't have that luxury. That's why I say to these kids that have that opportunity to have resources for you to go to school and fulfill your dreams, don't take it for granted because people will kill to have that kind of support that you got and you guys just nonchalant about it. Respect that your people is making things happen and sacrificing. It may not look like it's a big deal, but it is. I say to some people, yeah, we make things look easy as parents. And as a parent, I understand what my parents was going through. back in the day, not being able to provide everything. I understand. And you never really understand until you become a parent. So I get it, you know. Um, so yeah, you know, uh, in a nutshell, so I had a conversation with the brother, and he was saying Allen Iverson was stupid for leaving college and acquiring and signing an NBA deal for $40 million, which blossomed into $100 million. This joker talking about he was fit for that. Because his point of view was, and he's entitled to his opinion, but I'm looking at him, I'm like, are you rich? I could tell you middle class, but you're not rich to be talking like that. If you rich already, I get it. That's your upbringing, that's your background. But if you not rich, who are you to be talking about this man is not to go get $40 million and he living in the slums of Virginia or the hood of Virginia? When he step out his door, you know what I'm saying? It's the hood. So I really let him feel that. And he ain't hear nothing. I'm like, okay, you must have it good all your life. You must didn't struggle. And, he was suited up, bow tie on, and, you know, what I'm saying? Probably went to private school or something, but he was really out the loop of the struggle and what that $40 million meant. And he talking about a degree. They give you honorary degrees when you commanding that kind of money. Because they feel like you exceeded school. But I get where he was coming from to a degree. He said he messed himself up because now he ain't going to know how to take care of that money. And that's what school going to show him. I say, okay, you hire people for that. I just wasn't getting on board with him with that. 40 million is 40 million. I don't care how much I'm not informed. I could get and I will get informed. Okay? Because you don't have that opportunity. It's the worst opportunity in the world because you had to go to school to get yours. And kudos to you. I respect everybody that put in the time and the work and got their documents, got their degrees. Because that's something that I never completed. So I respect people that put the time and that sacrifice in it. I admire you, but I'm not jealous of you. I champion you and I honor the hard work that it takes because if it was easy, everybody would have degrees. So I was just like, wasn't on board with the brother talking like that. And then he was like, just to shut me down, because in his mind, he was like, well, why am I debating with you? You ain't got no degree, and he ain't got no degree. So he left like that on that note. I was like, wow, you just don't get it. let me say this to anybody that need to hear this. When you coming out of high school, you're faced with three ways to be successful. You either go to school, get your degrees, and you excel, you go in the military, or you go vocational. That means you learn skills to pay the bills. Or you go vocational, you learn skills to pay the bills. That's the route I went when I left school. Did my year, my semester, but I was in a work program in high school. I had a half a day when I was a senior. That's why I didn't play sports, because I was fixed on getting a job. I was fixed on getting a job. And my, you know, my vocational skill was brick masonry. Curtis Hayes was my professor at Phelps Trade School. I had a job waiting for me once I graduated with his brother construction company, Hayes Construction. I didn't even want to go to college. My grandmother made me go. She said, go for a year. And if you like it, stay. And if you don't, if you like it, stay. If you like it, stay. Hold on, my connection going in and out. That's why I keep repeating myself. If you like it, stay. If you don't, leave. I got there, I loved it. But then she got sick and died. So my motivation went out the window. My motivation went out the window. My work journey began, so, and I ain't look back. So I tell my son how important his degree going to mean to this family and to me, you know. So respect the resources that you got behind you. Respect the support. Respect the support that you got. And bring that degree home like his brother did from A&T. And join the family members that have degrees that's doing well in life. So at the end of the day, I think the brother was hating on Iverson because he feel like, you know, how someone possess that don't possess a degree be fortunate enough to command that kind of money. But it is a such thing as a talent. People don't understand your artistry, your gifts is worth gold and diamonds and everything top tier like that degree is for you to go get your job and get paid the big money. If you can tap into your artistry and your gifts and your talent, you don't need to go to school to become a specialist or whatever it is that you study and that they give you that document, that degree for. You are the degree. You are the specialty. If come on, man. If you're fortunate enough to tap into your talent and know what it is. And if you're fortunate enough for you to capitalize on it or be discovered. So I'm just saying, you're going to be faced with different, opinions. You just got to stand on what you stand on and not let nobody waver how you feel. Now, don't get me wrong. Anything that can enhance your life is great. Anything that could be looked at as an accomplishment is great. So, on the low, that degree is something that I desire to have, but do I need it? I don't need it. I done made it without it. So whether I get it or not, you know, no big deal. But it will just go on my wall of accomplishments that I have achieved in my lifetime. It's just another thing to be proud of because I found my way in the world of what works for me, you know. So to people that feel like, well, if you don't have these degrees or you don't possess nobody degree from somebody university, so therefore you're not successful and you're not going to be successful, I disagree. I disagree highly, you know. But I tell people that's in position, the way God give, God take. If you're not appreciative. So instead of trying to be mean and bogus and tear people down, you need to uplift. For God take what he gave to you. Because whatever education that you have going on or possess that you've been rewarded a degree for, let's say you're MD and you at a hospital and you do something wrong for them to take your license from you. What good is your education then when you can't use your license to make the money that you supposed to be making? And now your whole lifestyle changed. I'm sure you're lying on your feet doing something consulting, but it's not directly of what you're supposed to do. And it don't take from who you are. But being nasty and turning your nose up to everybody, that's what's gonna happen to you in some fashion, you know. All right, I talked about Kanye West and Till made me till. That was the highlight of this video, part 33, the throwbacks. Let's play some throwbacks. And what I feel like right now, I feel like the samples are through the fire. And who was that? Who sampled through the fire? Kanye West. So which one do I play? Do I play the original or the sample? I think I'm gonna play the throwback because it is called throwbacks, right? So let's key that up. And this was one of my favorite songs, back in the day. You know, one of my favorite songs that I shared with a young lady. Uh, so Let me get that out to you. All right, let's go. Shaka Khan through the fire. Let's go. In your eyes and I can see love so dangerously. You're not trusting your heart to anyone. You tell me you're gonna play it smart. Let me get y'all some visuals. But I believe that we've only just begun. If it's this good, there's no saying no. I want you so ready to the fire, to the man to the heart. Still need time to heal, and I can help if you only let me try. You touch me and something in you. I never knew. I'm not ready to kiss that dream goodbye. When is this sweet? There's no saying no. I need you so. I'm ready to go to the fire, to the memory, to the heart. Right down to the wall, even through the fire. I risk it all.